Bruce, let's hit it. I gotta go. Okay, welcome to City of Pasadena, Texas, City Council meeting, June 2nd, 2020, 10 a.m. Actually, it's 10:05. Our meeting will be starting. We'll start with invocation by Rex Lindbergh. And Carrie Bass will be leading us in the pledges. Marcel, is Rex out there anywhere?
This is Cathy Johnson.
Okay, we'll just improvise. We'll get
Carrie Bass.
Carrie Bass. Would you lead us in the invocation,
I'll
please?
take care of the pledge and everything.
That's a good job.
Stand. Everybody bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this time to get together as friends and loved ones around us look up to us to maybe help run the city. And we've got a lot to do this summer. It's a summer of plenty of problems. And we just want to pray for peace. We want to pray for the promise of prosperity. We want to pray for wisdom and pray for the presence of God to dwell within our community. Look after us, guide us, give us wisdom. We pray all these things in precious name, Jesus Christ. Would everybody turn to the American flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Councilman Bass, and you may go ahead.
Thank y'all very much for watching on TV or coming. We're looking for a great summer. Hopefully we're going to get through this summer and a lot of our problems will be behind us. Businesses are starting to open back up. Things are starting to look good. We got a little storm in the Gulf. Hopefully it will go other places than Pasadena. We want to ask for prayer. We want to ask for protection for our police as they're trying to protect our cities. We know there should be peaceful protests. It needs to be peaceful. Looters and outsiders coming in to destroy property and damage property and hurt lives is not going to be stood for. Peaceful protest is fine. It is a constitutional. Be careful out there. If you are out there protesting, watch the social distancing, wear your mask. You're getting a lot closer than you should. And so I just ask for peace in our community. With that, I'll pass.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Shane.
I'd like to welcome everyone here today and also to appreciate Councilman Bass's comments. We do live in a world that is troubled, especially here in our own nation. Take pride in your city, take pride in your communities. We're not people that should be burning down businesses or looting or causing devastation within the ranks of where our families live. So let's maintain our, for lack of a better word, our civility. Let's maintain our love for one another and respect for one another. On another note, I'd like to congratulate some folks, Officer Sergeant Eric Fickinson. Congratulations on your 40 years of service. I've known you and your wife for a long time and very proud of y'all and the city, and I want to personally thank you for your service and your dedication. And Miss Cathy Johnson, you're with our municipal courts. I'm going to be honest with you. This is probably the first time I've ever met you, but for 25 years, you've been handling a lot of court cases, and you have helped make our city what it is through dealing with customers that come through our court system. So thank you for your service, and thank you to your family. And with that, Mayor, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Ibarra.
Ms. Johnson, thank you for 25 years of service, and Sergeant Fickerson, thank you for your 40 years of service. That'll pass.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Lehman.
I'd also like to thank Sergeant Fickerson and Ms. Johnson for their service to the city of Pasadena. And the parks are open.
Yes.
And I saw evidence of that yesterday. I went over to Queens Park like I do every other day to try to walk a little bit. And a lot of people over there, kids throwing the baseball around, kids on the playground. It's good to see that. I was asked by a couple of kids at the park, when can we play basketball? And I told them I think around the 15th. But anyway, Pasadena's coming back to life. Things are getting somewhat back to normal, but we all still need to maintain our social distancing and everybody stay safe. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to remind everybody that June the 6th is D-Day. That's when our Allied forces invaded Normandy in World War II and invaded France. Lives were lost, but we should not forget historical days that our military has saved this country. And Cathy Johnson, 25 years. Thank you very much, ma'am. Eric Ferguson, 40 years. That's a long time, sir. You know, maybe we can both enjoy a little later in life together. But I want to comment the Sanitation Department. We had a tornado in Pasadena last week, and it hit part of my district, Oriole Street, Satsuma. It hit part of Sammy District on Norman, and I heard it hit over Scarborough. But I called the Sanitation Department, and especially Oriole. It didn't see any major damaged houses. Heard some carports were damaged, but it took this one major big oak tree, just twisted up like splinters, and it was all torn up on the street, in the street. And the sanitation there, I called him. He went out there, and well, of course, he does it all the time. We got them to be thankful every day. But he cleaned up Oriole Street. It was the whole street, blocking the street. And they not only pick up all the debris, the limbs, and et cetera, they clean it up. They do a fine job. But they do that every day. The Sanitation Department, we've got one of the finest departments in Pasadena. And again, I want to say my sincere appreciation from the tornado. Thank God it wasn't worse, but it could have been worse if it had missed a house about 20 feet. That's close. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Casados.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, thank you for your services, 25 years, 40. We appreciate that very much. Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and for everybody that came here this morning. We appreciate it. I'd like to start off by saying there's a CARES package that's been voted on by Congress, and it was for $19 billion. Out of that $19 billion, Harris County is going to get 1.7 of that money. And from that 1.7 billion, Pasadena is supposed to receive $82 million. And I want to take this time and thank Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia for giving me the information. We're supposed to be getting some of that money, and I would like to, I hope that this administration would take some of this money and give back to the community, give back to our elders that have been going through this time with the COVID, haven't been able to get out, give back to the disabled, the veterans, even the small businesses that have been hurting. I mean, we need to give back to these entities and people and citizens of this city because we are in a time of crisis. We are hurting right now. There's a lot of people out there that are hurting. Maybe some of us haven't been affected as much, but there are more than there's a lot of people out there hurting right now. So with this money that we receive, we need to really help out the individuals, put some funding aside in accounts so that we can distribute out some help to folks that are in need. Also, talking about the COVID, I would also like to thank Commissioner Garcia and Chancellor Hellier. We're supposed to be opening up a new testing site at San Jacinto College here in the next week or so. That's going to be great. It's going to be the biggest one, one of the biggest ones in Harris County, and so be it. It's nice to have something here. We're the second largest city in Harris County, and it needs to be here in Pasadena to where we can start testing more people and make sure that everybody's being taken care of and they're taking care of themselves and are aware of what is going around the city. So there are some good things going on. I appreciate all of the support and help that we're getting from our congresspeople and Harris County commissioners. But things are looking up. Things are getting better. If you're going to be in close quarters with people, please remember to wear your mask and use social distancing. That I pass.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Wheeler.
I'll pass, Mayor.
Councilman Caton.
I'd just like to say, let's continue to pray for all of the people that have the virus and pray that they be healed. And in regards to the national protests, let's pray for peace and stop all of the destruction. With that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Brings us down to citizens wishing to speak to council. Our first is Les Roy. Man, be sure to start the clock as soon as he talks.
Go ahead and hit that button now.
There he is.
Hello, Judge.
If I had said that, I'd get in trouble. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for hearing from me today. I'm talking on behalf of, or about, Cathy Johnson, who's been an employee of the Municipal Court now for 25 years, but also on behalf of all the city employees who've done 25 or more years. Sergeant Fickerson, my goodness, remember him all the way back from the police academy, and that's 40 years ago. And time just slides by so quickly, so congratulations, Sergeant. Proud for you, too. Mr. Shainbein said it pretty well. In fact, he said it very well. This may be the first time I've met you, and that's why I come here, because very often there are so many people who do great work, but they labor in obscurity. We don't get to see them, y'all don't get to see them. That's nobody's fault. That's simply the way business works. So let me introduce to you Cathy Johnson, who started in our court as a deputy clerk and pretty quickly moved up to the position of collection manager, a position which she occupies today. Now, about 15 years ago, our court implemented a civilian-style collection program, which involves multiple notices to personnel before we give them a hearing, before we issue a warrant. This is not one of these, whoops, you didn't pay yesterday, you're going to jail today kind of programs. We've never run it that way. We don't run it that way today. And the City of Pasadena collection model has become a statewide model. For many cities around the state, they've come to visit us and see how we implement the program. And I've always been proud to host them. I've always been proud of the work that people have done. While sometimes I get too much credit, the simple truth of the matter is that it's people like Cathy Johnson that deserve the credit because they're the ones who implement the program. As everybody has noted this morning, these are difficult times. We are having unemployment that is equal to or greater than the Great Depression. And that makes it particularly difficult in the collection business. And Cathy Johnson has demonstrated an ability to measure firmness with compassion in the exercise of her duties. And for that, I am thankful, and I hope the City of Pasadena citizens are thankful. So today, she'll receive a ring, but as you present her that ring, let it ring in your ears the hard work that so many dedicated employees of the City of Pasadena do on behalf of all of us each and every day. Thank you, Mayor. May I be excused?
I'm gonna clap. Good job. Thank you so much.
Okay, our next speaker is going to be Ms. Christina Mack.
You didn't buzz your husband.
Hello, city council members. Just wanted to give you guys a few quick updates on things happening at the chamber. I want to say thank you to all of the businesses that participated in Paint Pasadena for PISD. We had 137 stops all over the city of businesses, city departments, and parks across every council district, with more than 1,700 visits by students. And so they were exposed to many parts of discovering Pasadena. We'll be announcing all of the grand prize winners tomorrow at our Breakfast with Champions event. If you still want to attend, this is a drive-in breakfast event, so you'll drive in at South Main Baptist. Breakfast will be served to you from one of our PISD mascots, and then you'll tune in through your radio. So a new way to come together while still staying apart. So you can register online today and hear the announcement about the student winners. We are also at the Chamber continuing to partner with our local food pantries, and so we did Operation Stock the Shelves at the end of April, which was a huge success, restocking the non-perishable food for our 9 food pantries across the city. However, they are bare again and they need our help, and so we've partnered with churches all across the community to do a food collection, and then they will deliver those to the food pantries, as well as the Chamber will be a drop-off next Wednesday, June 10th from 8 to 5 at the Pasadena Chamber office or any of the churches that are listed on our website. If you know of a church that wants to engage and they want to do a collection, please tell them to reach out to us so we can get them the information to help with that. Additionally, there is the compiled resources as well. Councilman Casados mentioned some of the relief programs and funding, but I just wanted to also make sure that nobody should be going hungry in our community. There's lots of entities that are doing drive-through food collection and distribution, and we have a number of resources available. So there's a compiled list of food pantry resources, and we also were asked to compile a list of mental health resources. So if you have folks who are looking for mental health care via telemedicine, virtual meetings, in-person meetings, sliding scales, free services, there are a number of organizations that are providing those services for our community, and that is all on the Chamber website COVID-19 page as well. So I hope that you all will use that as a resource, and if there's anything that we can do to help you all during this time, then please let us know. And we are still holding our Membership 101 orientation, so for small businesses trying to look for ways to market in new ways and to have conversations to think innovatively during this time, they can join in on those conversations. So PasadenaChamber.org has all of the information, and we'll continue to advocate and connect our community through educating and serving the businesses. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Our next citizen to speak and address council is Robert Jeter.
Good morning, Council. On May 12th, there was an incident at the Holly Bay Sports Complex between some moms and several Pasadena police officers. I received a call to come out there, and I am more than happy to do what I can for the citizens of Pasadena. I would like to thank our Pasadena police officers who used good discretion in responding. I filmed the interaction for transparency and the safety of the moms, our officers, and myself. I am very pleased with the results. No arrest, no citations. It was later brought to my attention that we may have had some death threats against officers and possibly a protest at one of their houses. I'm not pleased with that. Pasadena is better than that. In the event something like that happens in the future, whether I'm involved in the situation or not, I am more than happy to show up and do my best to de-escalate situations. I am not a fan of protesting at people's houses. Police department or city hall is much more encouraged. Additionally, I do think we should hold officers accountable for their actions when they mess up. The death of George Floyd has brought some conversations to the forefront. My thoughts are that peaceful protests are fine, unlawful and violent riots are not. If any citizen would like to reach out to me to coordinate a lawful protest to advise them on how to do it right, I would welcome that conversation. Violence and riots don't need to come to Pasadena. Our city is better than that. When the world looks at how we as Americans respond to crisis, show them a shining civilization of patriots to inspire them. When Americans look south to the hardworking Texans, show them why we're so proud of this state and city. Build a better society that children read about in history books a few years from now. We can do it, and I believe many of us will. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, sir. Sergeant Brian Lithicum.
Forgive me, I got progressive lenses, so I'm still working on this. But look, I contemplated to come speak here today, but I was compelled to do so. First and most importantly, I'd like to applaud the citizens of Pasadena for handling the COVID-19 crisis and now the unfortunate death of George Floyd, which has sparked outrage throughout our country. But these violent and destructive protests do not do justice for anyone. When vigilantes destroy and loot businesses, they are not doing it for justice. They're doing it for their own personal and selfish gain. They are not American. They stand for everything against the freedoms that all the great men and women, whether Asian, Black, Hispanic, or white, died to protect. We are the greatest country in the world. And yes, we have our faults like every other country, but hating each other doesn't fix it. Please stop and think. If the United States was so wrong, then why does every other country look for us for guidance and for us to bail them out? In every profession, there's bad people. There are bad doctors, there's bad lawyers, there's bad politicians, there's bad plumbers, and yes, there's bad police. Our job is to hold them accountable by the laws of the land and not deface our historical monuments, burn or loot businesses. We are free to make rational and our own independent decisions. We do not need actors, athletes, or most importantly, politicians to tell us how we should think or act. We need term limits for all elected officials. We are law-abiding citizens. We go to work every day to provide for our families. However, we're also responsible for paying for the construction of roads, buildings, etc. by our taxes. When the money is inappropriately used and wasted, they continue to ask for more. Sorry, y'all. It's just so frustrating to me. The actors, the athletes, the politicians have all the money in the world, something we could only dream of. Ironically, are always the ones during a crisis asking us to give. Why don't they step up? Simple. It's greed. So, again, just want to thank the citizens who believe, though we have our flaws, we're still and always will be the greatest country in the world. But if we continue to allow people to act as if this is a third world country, there's no hope for us. And again, I want to personally thank the citizens of Pasadena, the mayor, the council, but most importantly, the men and women of the Pasadena Police Department who do this thankless job, face ridicule daily. They are the true heroes. And if you think you can do a better job, please apply. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Sarge. Steve Alvarez. Alvarez.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start off with thanking the council members that have been answering my phone calls, returning my phone calls, and trying to help me out with my situation. Once again, the city of Pasadena gave me permits to do work on my house. I proceeded forward with these works to accommodate my mother who's suffering from dementia. She's a senior citizen who's suffering from dementia, and I can't stand that there's people in this room that will not stand up and say, hey, we can help her out. You know, this is a situation that the city of Pasadena gave you permission to do these accommodations, and now they're going back and trying to sue you because a neighbor complained after they gave you permission, which I have the plans here, everything's been approved, and I have not gotten proper support from the people who can make this just go away. Just help out a senior citizen who's suffering from dementia. I was here, the mayor, you gave me your word that I will be able to talk to you after the meeting. You did not live up to that word you gave me last time I was here. I'm very disappointed. I pay taxes, I vote, I deserve your time. Mr. Clayton, you intercepted the mayor here. I don't know what you whispered in his ear, but whatever you told him changed his mind and talking to me. I feel very disrespected by you by doing that. My mother deserves the time of every individual in this room. She is suffering. She has trouble getting into the shower. This was going to help her with that. I'm almost done with this. I'm 90% done. And for you guys to sit back and let the city attorneys stop me from doing something that you guys approved for me to do. I already put my money in it to help out a senior citizen suffering. And you guys are going to step back and let a senior citizen suffer because you got political agendas. That's sad. I'm troubled by that. I am worried that there's political corruption. Who's going to sit back and watch a senior citizen suffer if it wasn't for some kind of inside agenda, some kind of political corruption? I haven't put my finger on it, but if you want me to dig deeper, I will. I don't understand how a common person, a person who goes to church, a person who just lives in the city, a person who cares about the senior citizens of their city cannot stand up for a senior citizen suffering. And stopping me from doing these accommodations to make her life better is disgusting to me. Anybody who would stand against this is just pure disgusting. I was already given permission. I already get the permits. I already spend my hard-earned money. I'm a blue-collar worker. I don't sit back and collect thousands. I already put the money into it. I don't have any money to go outside of what's been agreed here. And there's been other whispers that what I'm doing is different from what the plans are here. I brought them with me today. Don't take my word for it. It's in black and white. I'm not doing anything different than what the city approved. I wish somebody here would stand up and say, hey, I can help you out. My grandfather served, and he fought in the Korean War. And I apologize to him for not serving in the service. He said, don't apologize to me. He says, you're an American when you stand up and fight for those who can't fight for themselves. I'm asking every one of y'all to stand up and fight for those who can't fight for themselves.
Thank you. And listen, I did talk to you after this council meeting, like I said. I said, I cannot talk to you because it's illegal. You need to talk to legal. I did say that.
You're above legal.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely so.
What legal says. So
Absolutely so.
thank you, sir.
Help a senior citizen.
State the facts.
I will be back.
did talk to
I
you.
will be back with more votes.
Ben Ramirez.
Ben?
What's the last name?
It looks like MARNITEZ, I think.
Martinez.
Ben Martinez?
No, it's not Martinez. They don't look like Martinez. Like anybody wants to speak. It's your time. Get up here and speak. Mr. Ben?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Please talk.
Israel Ramirez.
Okay.
I live at 1323 Richard Avenue.
Yes, sir. That's you. Go ahead.
I've been before this council before, and we're trying to get our street fixed. Mr. Casados knows about the case. I turned the paperwork over to him. Unfortunately, I had a heart transplant last year, so I wasn't able to follow up. And thank God I'm talking to you now again. And thank you for all the work I've been doing in the city. It's been, you can really tell the improvements all around the city. We're just asking for a little section of street to be fixed from the 1300 block to the 1400 block of Richard Avenue. Our kids can't even go down the street riding their bikes. They keep on filling in the potholes, and about a week later, because of our inclement weather, it just washes away again. So I asked the council to see if we can get it repaved. You know, it's been more than a couple of years. I was told it was already on the agenda and that it was supposed to be started last year, and still there's nothing been done to it. And now again, it needs to be filled in just to get through it. And I invite anybody to go through that street, just that one section, and you can tell. I'd rather go drive in Mexico. I'm serious.
I get it.
I invite any council member to drive through that road, and you'll have a hard time. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Right, I appreciate it.
Travis Waller.
Travis Waller? No? Scanlon? You're not coming? Okay, cancel that one.
Okay. Okay, council, that brings us down to presentations of awards. Mr. Pennington.
Mayor and Council, it's my pleasure today to recognize two employees for their long and loyal service to the city of Pasadena. If Eric Dickinson and Cathy Johnson come up here, if y'all can stand sort of beside me. As mentioned earlier, these two city employees collectively represent about 65 years of service, and that's what they're being commended for today. First is Eric Dickinson. Just as a sidebar, I worked with Eric for several years and we ate a lot of breakfast together. But Eric is really, I found him to be a very intelligent guy, a great guy, great cop, self-motivated, tremendous work ethic, very ethical. It was a pleasure working with Eric. I learned a lot from him. He was the wise old sage. And yeah, well, back then he wasn't as old. But anyway, Eric is a really good guy. Today he's being recognized with this gold watch for his 40 years of service, and I believe it has your initials on the back of it. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Next is Cathy Johnson. I'd like to echo the judge's comments about Cathy. Being from HR, if I don't recognize your name or your face, that's usually a good thing. And so, Miss Cathy, I appreciate that. I do remember us meeting in the past. But Cathy has 25 years of service. Working with the judge, that's almost like 40 years of service for Eric, okay? So anyway, Miss Cathy's getting recognized with this gold ring. Thank you, Miss Cathy. I appreciate you very much. And if you could, I'm just gonna have them stand up here in between the two desks, and if y'all pop up, we'll just take a quick picture real quick. And then Eric, I can send this to you and Cathy after the meeting.
Yeah.
All right, we ready? Hold it out there. 1, 2, 3. I'll do one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Cathy and Eric, I'll send it to you. We'll let them get on back to work. Well, I just bragged about you. I just bragged about you.
I thought you told them you could have the day off.
Okay, brings down the presentation of minutes, May 19th, 2020, 6 p.m. Motion Lehman, second by Bass. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Brings down the progress payments.
Motion.
Motion Shanebine, second by Harrison. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Brings us down to finance resolutions.
Motion.
Motion Lehman,
Second.
second Shanebine. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Brings us down to personnel changes A. Motion Ibarra,
Second.
second Bass. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
We have one no. Madam Secretary, brings us down to final readings.
Who was the nay vote on that? Okay, thank you. Okay. Final readings, ordinance 2020-59, authorizing approving a grant from the Office of the Governor of Texas for the fiscal year 2020 Urban Area Security Initiative, Homeland Security Grant Program for Emergency Operations Center enhancements, $284,327.79. Ordinance 2020-60, authorizing approving a grant from the Office of the Governor of Texas for the fiscal year 2020 Urban Area Security Initiative, Homeland Security Grant Program for the continuation of the Regional Fusion Analyst, $107,429. Ordinance 2020-61, authorizing approving a grant from the Office of the Governor of Texas for the fiscal year 2020 Urban Area Security Initiative, Homeland Security Grant Program for the Pasadena Barb Sustainability Project, $133,299. Ordinance 2020-62, authorizing approving a grant from the Office of the Governor of Texas for the fiscal year 2020 Urban Area Security Initiative, Homeland Security Grant Program for the Pasadena Cybersecurity Enhancement Project, $1,500. Ordinance 2020-63, authorizing approving a contract between the City of Pasadena and Cotton Logistics for emergency food services for the City of Pasadena for a period of 3 years. And Ordinance 2020-65, authorizing approving the contract with Red River Technology for the development of a city mobile application utilizing Texas Department of Information Resources contract DIR TSO 3945 and Texas Department of Information Resources contract DIR TSO 4108, $92,008.
So moved. Motion by Ibarra.
Second.
Second by Bass. Any questions?
Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, ordinance 2020-065, I'm going to be voting against.
Okay.
I have an issue with giving a contract to someone for $92,000 whenever we already have a social media platform as a city. You're able to contact individuals by cell phone in case of emergencies. We have a Mayor's Action hotline that individuals can get a hold of. They can contact the city directly. And we just gave our webmaster a job increase or a different position so that he can do this exact type of thing. And we're going outside, outsourcing again, something for, again, $92,000 when we should have people here at the city that can do that. We have webmasters, communications directors. Again, we have social media, we have an internet, Facebook, we have a website. This is just, again, spending money that we don't need to be spending. That I pass.
Okay, sir. Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
We have 2 noes. Passes. Madam, on first readings, let's read them all together.
Okay, read them all, okay.
Yes.
First readings, ordinance 2020-66, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pasadena, Texas, Chapter 15, Health, Article 1 in general, at Section 15.2, same, subcommittees created, providing a penalty, repealing clause, savings clause, and providing for severability. Ordinance 2020-67, authorizing and approving transfer to Eastern Energy Pipelines, LLC, of 1 6-inch pipeline franchise originally granted by Ordinance 7153 to Williams Olefins Feedstock Pipelines LLC by Ordinance 2012-129, providing a savings clause and providing for severability. Ordinance 2020-68, granting to Praxar Inc. the right privilege franchise a permit to lay, replace, construct, repair, maintain, operate, and remove 1 10-inch nitrogen pipeline running on and across parcels of land, the center line and route of which is shown on the attached plat and courses and distances descriptions in the attached Exhibit A, incorporated herein for all purposes, all in the corporate limits of the City of Pasadena, Texas, and in accordance with plan and specifications heretofore filed with the Department of Public Works, Department of Planning, prescribing the terms and conditions under which said right privilege franchise and permit is granted, and providing for acceptance. Ordinance 2020-69, authorizing and approving amendment to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pasadena, Texas, Chapter 13, Article 3, Pasadena Volunteer Fire Department, Sections 1342 through 4850, 51, 53, and 56. Ordinance 2020-70, authorizing and approving an interlocal agreement by between City of Pasadena, Harris County to provide services of the youth service specialist for a period of 1 year. Ordinance 2020-71, authorizing the Pasadena Parks and Recreation Department to sign and accept terms of the Home Serve Safe Agreement for $25,000 for funding to resurface the sport court at the Vern Cox Multipurpose Recreation Center. Ordinance 2020-72, authorizing approving the purchase of computers for the new Municipal Courts building from Dell Marketing LP, utilizing the Texas Department of Information Resources contract DR TSO 3763, using 2017 certificates of obligation $78,178. Ordinance 2020-73, authorizing approving the purchase of technology equipment for the new Municipal Courts building from CDW Government, utilizing Texas Department of Information Resources contract DR TSO 4020 and NIPA ESCR4 Tech and IWB Solutions contract using 2017 certificate of obligation $56,709.73. Ordinance 2020-74, authorizing and approving an agreement by between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Business Flooring Partners LLC for the purchase and installation of replacement carpet at the Pasadena Public Central Library using the Bible contract 56118 in the amount of $198,392.42 with a 5% contingency of $9,919.62 from the 2018 Certificates of Obligation Fund Balance account, $208,312.04. Ordinance 2020-75, authorizing and approving an agreement by and between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Business Flooring Partners, LLC, for the purchase and installation of replacement flooring at the animal shelter in the amount of $70,000 with a 5% contingency of $3,500. Ordinance 2020-76, authorizing and approving an agreement by and between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Library Design Systems, Inc. to move the book stacks during the installation of the new carpet at the Pasadena Public Central Library using Bible contract 55918 in the amount of $29,700 with a 5% contingency $1,485 from the 2018 Certificates of Obligation Fund Balance account, $31,185, and Ordinance 2020-77, authorizing and approving master service agreement between the City of Pasadena Corporation to develop a multi-channel mobile payment solution that delivers versatility and full mobile experience that offer highly effective bill pay options via text, email, mobile browser, and mobile app.
Motion?
Motion, Caton?
Second.
Second, was that Lehman?
Yeah.
Lehman? Okay, any questions?
Mayor?
Go ahead, sir.
Madam Secretary,
Yes, sir.
on item G, H, I, J, and K, I'm going to vote no on those. And my reason is all of these items are funded by the Certificates of Obligations. And recently there have been questions on why we haven't spent money on drainage. And hurricane season started June the 1st. And the certificate of obligations are bonds that the city can sell without voter approval and utilize those bonds for anything they want to. So therefore, I voted against the certificate of obligation, and that's exactly what's happened. The city's done nothing but build buildings, no drainage, and we're hurricane season again. Now, these items here on this agenda, I feel like should have come out of the general fund. But that is not the way to sell bonds. I'm the only councilman that voted no on these certificate of obligations. And now we're paying the price. And now the residents are not happy. And it's too late to correct it, but if we sell any more bonds, certainly the people will realize that it's the wrong way to sell the bonds. So therefore, I can't accept it. I want to be consistent. I vote no on those items, Madam Secretary.
Councilmember, clarification on item J. It didn't mention certificate of obligation fund. Did you want that one? You said G, H, I, J, and K. Did you intend J as well?
Well, it says it right here. It's certificate of
Oh, it does say-
obligation on J.
oh, I didn't see it.
It
Oh,
says
okay.
it right here, Madam Secretary.
Oh,
If
I'm
you'll-
sorry, I
if
meant,
you'll read
okay.
it again, you might
Okay.
see it.
G, H, I, J, K, all of those, okay.
G, H, I, J, and K.
Okay, thank
They
you.
all contain the
Nice.
certificate of obligation, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
And I pass.
Mayor?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. I too, Madam Secretary, the same, G, H, I, J, and K.
Okay,
I'm
got
going to be voting against those. And again, I think Councilmember Harrison brings up a good point. These certificate of obligations are funds that should have been used to fix our streets and drainage. We just had a man come up and talk about Raymond. I was told this was on the schedule to be fixed 2 years ago. Still hasn't been fixed. The drainage is horrible on the north side of town. You know, the administration says we're waiting on FEMA money. We all know that didn't happen. Sent out a mailer saying they were going to start construction early 2020. That didn't happen, and here we are. We're still spending the money that's supposed to be used for those projects, and we're building buildings with them, putting in computers and things of that nature. This is your money. This is your taxpayer money. You're paying debt on this as taxpayers, and it shouldn't be used for things like this. So I will be voting against this, and you know, I don't understand why we can't fix our streets. Our drainage is bad. People are flooding. We have 6 inches of rain in 30 minutes, an hour, whatever the case is. It's going to flood. We get that. It's a lot of rain, but at the same time, as a city, we need to make sure that we are being proactive instead of reactive. And this administration has failed to do that time and time again. They have a track record of it. That I pass.
Thank you, sir. Any other comment?
Mayor,
Go ahead, sir.
I would like to address item G, H, I, J, and K. G is for our municipal court system. So all of our customers that visit our courts can be processed and handled in a very professional and efficient manner. It's called information technology. So that is part of our infrastructure. On item H, you know, our court buildings need the technology for the new equipment that they're going to be having over there. And then for our public library, we have many citizens within the boundaries of Pasadena that utilize our public library system, and that is part of our infrastructure as well, keeping up our buildings. And to the point of not providing for flood mitigation, we've received over $100 million in flood mitigation funds. And if you look all around the city, we have made tremendous improvements in the last 3 years since Harvey, with the partnerships with Harris County Flood Control, and also, too, with our own Public Works Department. This administration has tremendously supported, over the last 3 years, flood mitigation projects. And the flood, Councilman Casadas is correct. You get 6 inches in an hour, it's going to happen. But we have mitigated a lot of the streets that have had that problem in the past that no longer have that issue.
Thanks, sir. Any other comment?
Mayor,
Go ahead, sir.
so
There's a lot of debate on how bonds should be used, how debt should be used in a city. And a lot of people say we should have a pay-go system, pay as you go. But I think one of the good counter arguments to that is that if it's going to be used over multiple generations, if a road's going to be built that's going to be there for 40 years and you finance that out and you have multiple generations of taxpayers pay for that road, I think that's a justifiable cause in using debt. That's typically how cities run. Here we're buying carpet and computers with money that's going to be paid out over 20 years. So when these computers are obsolete, when this technology is obsolete, when the carpet's gone, we're still paying for it. It doesn't make sense from a fiscal standpoint, from a financial standpoint, and the priority should be flooding. It should be infrastructure. And that was our point of contention from the get-go, that these bonds weren't sent to the public to be voted on for what they should be spent on. So we took out $76 million in bonds, and now we're buying carpet and computers. I won't support it, and I'm also not going to be supporting item D. We had a pre-council, and there's some verbiage that we're looking at changing, and that I think that this council will feel more comfortable with, but until that verbiage is changed, I will not support that. So I'll vote against items D, G, H, I, J, and K.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
Item L, it's for momentous. I got a couple emails and some phone calls about a couple months ago about the water billing system going down as far as the online payment. I do want to thank our city controller. She took the initiative, went out there and started looking for a system that we can use so that our citizens can pay their bills online. Not only for the water billing department, but also for parks and other departments within the city. I do commend her. It's a great program, and I do appreciate that she took the time to take the initiative to work on this. Also, when it comes to flood mitigation, what I'll say is this: is we have about $60 million in surplus. We could do better. We could do better as a city. If you drive around, you drive these streets, especially when it rains, there's a lot of flooding. And for us to wait on FEMA or any other county or the state for reimbursement, I think us as a city need to take that initiative and start working on these projects. We can't wait a year or two or three for Harvey reimbursement. We have to take care of ourselves. And so I know this past budget, some council members and myself made an amendment to try to add a couple of projects to every district. That was voted down. Hopefully this next year we can start working on some of that. So that'll pass.
Thanks, sir. Any other comments? Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to add D to voting no on.
Absolutely. You got that?
Add D.
Yeah, I'm not supporting D.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay, with that, drainage, it's not on the agenda, but since it's brought up, I will remind everyone, we're in the design phase of 25 miles of new streets and drainage. We're almost 99% finished with the design. Construction is going to be starting. That's leadership, and that's putting our money right where our mouth is by making our streets safer. 25 miles of new streets and drainage. Ritchie Street's been done completely from 225 down to Southmore, new drainage. Lafferty's being worked on, new drainage. There's drainage being done all over the city, so that's nonsense. So with that, all in favor? Aye. And you have all the no's?
I have the no's, yes.
Okay. Passes. Brings us down to resolutions. Madam
Read
Secretary.
them both?
Ma'am,
Read both of them?
I can't read.
Read them both at the same time? Okay,
Please,
go ahead and read them all.
please,
Okay.
please.
Resolution 2020-84, authorizing the Pasadena Parks and Recreation Department to apply for a grant from USDA to be used to assist in facility recovery due to COVID-19 for clearing supplies and no-touch items. Resolution 2020-85, accepting donations from the Friends of Pasadena Public Library valued at $94.17, Raising Cane 70 lunches for event volunteers and staff, Legacy Community Health 1,000 bags, and a $50 gift card. And Darren Lawani, tennis scholarship, 3 cases of water and gift basket. Prizes and/or gift baskets valued between $10 and $75 from the Radio Dental, Armand Bayou, Amera Group. Authors Candace Robinson and Erica Lynn Burden, ABC Dental, Bedrock City Comics, Sunset Method United Search, Pasadena Burden, ABC Dental, Pasadena Wood Care Pharmacy, CMP Bookkeeping, and Taxes Not Light, Pediatric Urgent Care, Webster, Mia Tienda, Penguin Random House, Interactive College of Technology, Crystal Cove Girl Scouts, National Guard and Life Society of Creative Acronyms, and Lay Skilled.
Motion.
We have a motion by Wheeler. Second. Second by Bass. Any questions? All in
Mayor.
favor? Who said, somebody said mayor?
Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to add that $25 million worth of roads, they're going to lower your street by 2 feet.
Sir, that's
And
not
it's
what
gonna
we're
create
voting on,
more
sir.
flooding.
That's
That'll
not what we're
pass.
voting on, sir. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution. Thank you. Stick around. The workshop's starting in 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
How about 3?